What a wild card round of the NFL playoffs. That was absolutely insane. And now we have tons of questions like, is Matt LaFleur and Nick Sirianni going to get fired? Mike Tomlin getting let go? Can the Bears actually win the Super Bowl? Questions like this are over the league. The 49ers have a chance with all of their injuries to win another playoff game and make the NFC Championship game against the Bears, who no one thought were going to make it. So, what a season so far in the NFL. Welcome back to Hold My Helmet. Your host once again, Will Reichling. Gonna react to the games in this video. My next video, I'll predict the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. So right now, I'm gonna do my reaction. So like, subscribe, and share. I'm gonna start with Bears-Packers. Let's go. Hit it. It's honestly crazy because everyone was so quick to announce that Caleb Williams is a bust in the NFL earlier in the season and last season. Everyone pretty much rooted for it. A lot of people hated this guy. Not sure why. I guess painting your nails kind of rubs people the wrong way. The only thing I can really think of. But how many big plays has this guy made this season? How many big plays did he make in that fourth quarter alone? They just never gave up. The Chicago Bears never gave up, and they just kept fighting in that game, kept inching closer and closer and closer until all of a sudden it's a one-score game, and the Packers are driving down the field, miss a field goal, so now all of a sudden you're only down by 3, and Caleb Williams has the ball, and we all know what Caleb Williams is going to do in that situation. He's been doing it all season long. I've never seen a quarterback that could be so up and down in the first 3 quarters in the game, and then once he's trailing in the fourth quarter, become the best quarterback of all time. I've honestly never seen anything like this, and he's just so special with his mobility, his arm, the angles that he can throw with his arm, and it all comes together in these fourth quarters, it seems like. And in his first career playoff game, when in the beginning of the season, in the first half of the season, people were pretty much shitting on the guy, so quick to call him a bust. In his first career playoff game, which, mind you, fans didn't even think he was going to make it to the playoffs this season. In his first career playoff game as the 2 seed, to put on a performance like that in the fourth quarter is absolutely amazing. And to beat a team in the playoffs like the Green Bay Packers, who have owned you for years and years and years and years, you kind of felt the passing of the torch a little bit. Not even the passing of the torch, the taking of the torch. The Bears were like, fuck you, Green Bay. It's our time now. And it really felt like that in that game. Slowly, as the first half of the game unraveled into the second half of the game, you slowly felt the baton getting passed to Chicago. Caleb Williams still has a lot of growing to do. He has not even come close to hitting his ceiling. But the leaps he's made in the second half of the season and now into the playoffs has been amazing. And honestly, I gotta be honest, the Chicago Bears have a chance to make and win the Super Bowl. I'm saying that right now. The Chicago Bears have a chance to make and win the Super Bowl the way they play. Because there's some kind of magic involved with it, I'm not gonna lie, maybe even some kind of luck to some extent. But this team knows how to play in big moments, and they've been doing it all season long. Caleb Williams thrives when, 1, all the pressure's on him, and 2, he needs to make a play. So a game that felt like it was easily going to go in Green Bay's direction, Chicago just stole it and ripped the hearts out of Green Bay Packer fans. And for the Packers, Matt LaFleur might actually be on the hot seat now. I always thought he was a smart offensive play caller, but he's made so many mistakes this season. And it's actually funny because he actually called a brilliant first half. Like, the calls he was making in the red zone in the first half were perfect. Like, he was on the money. But then something changed in the second half. Like, he just didn't adjust, or he kept trying to be stubborn, and like when you try to fit a square into a round hole, he just kept trying to hit. And Kyle Shanahan does a little bit of this sometimes, but he's been great this year. But he just was not adjusting to because Chicago adjusted on the defensive side. Green Bay didn't adjust to Chicago's adjustments, it seemed like. And it just got very clunky in the second half. And Green Bay, just all season, never had a consistent identity. One game, it's run happy, and then they kind of shy away from the run, becomes pass happy. And there's really no rhyme or reason to it, though. Like, most coaches will do that. They'll change from run to pass, and there's a reason behind it. The defense they're playing, the scheme they're going against. Maybe you're missing some players in the offense due to injuries. It seems like there's no rhyme or reason to anything that Matt LaFleur does. And for a guy in me that's been defending him for all of this season, last season, the year before, I get it now, Packer fans. I understand your frustration. The problem is, who would you get to unlock this offense from the offense, because you would want to hire an offensive head coach. I wouldn't hire Hafley either. He's a good defensive head coach, but really your problem is within the offense. Like, something always stalls out with this offense or is inconsistent with this offense. So, like, who are you going to hire from this, like, coaching cycle that's going to unlock this offense? Kevin Stefanski? I mean, at that point, I would just roll my chances with LaFleur. John Gruden, I think he's done. Like, I don't think he's coming back. Tomlin's on the market now, but he's a defensive guy. Harbaugh's on the market now, but he's not an offensive guy. Like, I really, at this point, I would give him one more season and then assess from there, because, like, if this happens again, now you're at the point where you're kind of just like, all right, now we need to make a change, I guess. Like, but like right now, off a tough loss, I know fans are heated, and like I'm finally admitting that I understand your frustrations, but I still think this team could put it together. Like, they had tough injuries, like Tucker Kraft, Micah Parsons out for the year. Like, it happens, but again, LaFleur is a Kyle Shanahan disciple, and look at what Kyle Shanahan's doing with all the injuries that he's had on his team. So, like, there's really no excuse here for Matt LaFleur. It's just kind of, if he gets tight in tight spots and gets a little stubborn with how he calls games, it doesn't really have a rhyme or reason sometimes. But I would give it one more season. I understand Packer fans, like, the momentum kind of went from you guys being the best team in the league and a Super Bowl contender in the beginning of the season, the first couple of weeks of the season, to slowly Chicago going this way and you going this way. Then you have a lead on them in this game and you blow it. So it's tough. It's tough. And, like, your kicker didn't help, but no excuses here if you're a Packers fan. But like I said, LaFleur's a Kyle Shanahan disciple, and what Kyle Shanahan did with the amount of injuries he had, because he had about 5 to 10 times more injuries that LaFleur had in the offense and the defense, just overall, and Shanahan was able to get it done against the Eagles. And there's let's start here. There's absolutely no reason that the Eagles should lose that game. Like I just said, look at all of the injuries the 49ers have had and keep having this season. The Eagles scored 19 points. On a defense that can't generate any pass rush, scored 19 points. A.J. Brown's definitely going to get traded. Kevin Patullo already got fired. And I think as an Eagles fan, you have to start asking this question. Should Sirianni go too? You saw Sirianni and A.J. Brown going at it. You heard Brady at Fox say they know how much they care for one another. Really? I don't think so. I don't think A.J. Brown respects Sirianni in any way. And I wonder how many other players on that Eagles team feel that way. It's the same cycle over and over again. And you want to know why? Because you have an offensive head coach in Nick Sirianni that can't call his own plays. Tried to when he first got to the Eagles, failed. Steichen takes over, excels, gets a head coaching job, hires someone from within, fails again, brings in Kellen Moore, excels, gets a head coaching job. Now Kevin Patullo fails again. Like, it's going to be the same thing over and over again, because you're going to get a good play caller, and then he's going to go and get a head coaching job, and you're going to fail again. So I know Jalen Hurts takes a lot of heat at times, but it's impossible to succeed in this league when your offensive coordinator has changed every single year, and it's going to keep happening. It's going to happen again. So Jalen Hurts deserves a lot of the blame for being part of the loss, even though, like, the drops, like, he didn't get much help, but, like, he's definitely no excuse for Jalen Hurts. But at the same time, it's like, how do you function in a league where your offensive coordinator changes every single year? Like, at least have 2-3 years of consistency. No, he doesn't even get that. Look, you won the Super Bowl last year. 2 years before that, you were in the Super Bowl. So, like, we don't want to overreact. So obviously he's definitely not going to get fired. I think he's safe, obviously, and he's going to get another year. But let's say you have another year like this where it goes like this. Like, it's going to be very tough. It really is going to depend who they hire as their OC. And for the Niners, you're pretty much playing with house money at this point. You have so many injuries all over the place, and people keep getting hurt each game too. Like, there's been more injuries stacking up. Pretty crazy, actually. But I still think Kyle Shanahan deserves to be Coach of the Year. It's probably going to go to Ben Johnson. It's definitely going to go to Ben Johnson, but Kyle Shanahan deserves Coach of the Year from what he's done. Like, they're a game away from the NFC Championship game, and they're missing so many key players all over the goddamn field. It's remarkable. It's completely remarkable. And for the Texans-Steelers games, Texans beat the Steelers. I think it ended up being 30-6. The Texans' defense is just so good. They all hit hard, and they tackle really well. Their offense is just too inconsistent to win the Super Bowl, in my opinion. But that defense is special. And if, like, the offense could be average, they can go anywhere. I'm a little doubtful against them and against New England. We'll talk about that in the prediction video. But that defense is special, no doubt. The offense just has to play a little more consistent than what they were, especially in this game. Like, they were awful. Stroud was not good. But who was even worse, like, another poor performance for Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. Another poor performance for Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. And I get it. He has pretty much no one to throw to. His only good receiver is DK Metcalf. And Metcalf had a huge drop, and then Rodgers barely threw him the ball after that. I think he had, like, one other target after that. Texans had, I think, 3 turnovers. It could have been 4, actually. And the Steelers just couldn't capitalize on it. No touchdowns. The Steelers scored no touchdowns in this game. Aaron Rodgers, potential last game of his career, no touchdowns. They were 2 for 14 on third down. 2 for 14. How is that even possible? But now you heard the news. Tomlin has stepped down as Steelers head coach. I mean, I don't know if it's a mutual thing or if they actually fired him, but the report is he stepped down. So he's going to have a lot of options, Mike Tomlin. He is a good head coach. There's no doubt about that Mike Tomlin is a functional and very, very good head coach. But this played its course at this point. I mean, like, they were just doing the same thing over and over and over again. And, like, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, what is your goal? Is your goal just to make the playoffs every year and be a first-round exit? Or is your goal to win Super Bowls? Because you're one of the best franchises in the history of the NFL. So you really should strive more for that. So I've defended Mike Tomlin, but I completely get it from the Steelers fans and the Steelers organization point of view. So with that being said, Mike Tomlin's going to be a big candidate for like the New York Giants. The Baltimore Ravens actually could be a possibility. Isn't that crazy? Although I think they should go offense. Those are 2 big ones right there. I think the Giants one really stands out, even though you hear the Giants really want John Harbaugh. But I bet you didn't think Mike Tomlin was going to be out there. Aaron Rodgers is probably also retiring, so this is it for Aaron Rodgers. And he's going to be remembered as a guy that could have won a lot more playoff games and left a lot to be desired in the playoffs. Like, there's been so many poor playoff performances. And this one I really understood because the Steelers, like we all know, they weren't going anywhere. But, like, I would have liked to see him end it on a higher note. The fact that potentially the last pass of his career is going to be a pick 6. It's a little sad. It is a little sad when you think about it like that. But the Steelers are probably going to start rebuilding. They should probably trade TJ Watt. Like, this is probably going to be a rebuilding phase for the Steelers, which is something the Steelers haven't thought about in decades. They haven't had the chance to rebuild because their floor has been 9-8, 9-7, 10-6, 10-7. So the fact that they actually get the opportunity to maybe try to start a rebuild is going to be great for them. I mean, they're not going to have a high draft pick this year, but maybe they kind of floor out a little bit, and now they can actually have a true rebuild and start from scratch. Maybe get a young quarterback on a rookie contract and a bunch of young players on rookie contracts in the top of the draft, which they haven't been able to do. So in a way, this is a good thing for the Steelers. You're going into a new era and new possibilities and be able to do things a little bit more modern than the way other teams have, because being 9-8, 9-7 every year, it's like not really that normal. That's why it was so special that Tomlin did it. But you haven't had the chance to bottom out and then truly rebuild. Because a lot of the teams that bottom out end up with quarterbacks like Joe Burrow or Josh Allen. Speaking about Josh Allen, he beats the Jags. And a lot of people said I picked this game based on feelings, didn't really take stats into account. But you're damn right I picked this game based on instincts, because my instincts and my gut feeling told me that I would take Josh Allen over Trevor Lawrence in a big spot like this. And it turns out I was right, because Trevor Lawrence was shaky and Josh Allen was clutch down the stretch. So I know the Jags on paper were the better team. I mean, everyone kept saying it, but you tell me there's a game. There's a game, and it's one of the biggest games of the year. Trevor Lawrence versus Josh Allen. I'm taking Josh Allen every single time. And I don't know why people overthought this. People tried to outthink the room and go Jags. Maybe because the Jags are the new exciting team. But I knew Buffalo was going to win. And I know I bring up trust a lot on this podcast. But trust does matter when you're picking games. I do not trust Trevor Lawrence in big spots. I don't think I ever will until he proves me wrong in the playoffs and has a big game. Other than throwing 4 picks in the first half and having a miraculous, magical comeback that he never replicated again. So, Bills move on against the Broncos and the Jags. It was a great season, though, for them, but I will never trust Trevor Lawrence in the big spot until he proves me wrong in a big game, and multiple big games. So we'll see, but the jury's still out on Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion. He had a big second half of the season, but we've seen that before. That same year that he had that miraculous comeback, had a big second half of the season, then he fell off. Wouldn't be surprised if he fell off again next season, just saying. Chargers-Patriots, I mean, the Chargers just had too many injuries on the offensive line. Herbert was running for his life, but he was terrible again. We'll get into that in a bit. But the Patriots are a good team. They're not frauds. Their schedule was easy in the regular season. I get it. But so was the 1999 Rams, and they won the Super Bowl. So, like, easy schedule doesn't mean you aren't a good team. And they controlled that game. And they only scored 16 points, but they score extremely easily. They just know Drake May knows what he has to do to win. He has perfect touch on the ball. He just knows when to take off and run. He does take a lot of sacks. That's the one thing that's odd about him. But, like, there's no doubt that he's been playing in complete control this entire season. And the Chargers have a really good defense. So, like, I was impressed with the Patriots and Drake May in his first career playoff game. Justin Herbert, I cannot take him seriously until he wins a playoff game and plays well in that playoff game, because this is 3 playoff games where he's played poorly in all 3. played poorly in all three. And yes, the offensive line injuries didn't help, but like at some point, you just gotta overcome. And he does it in the regular season. For some reason, he can't do it in the playoffs. So like, before the season started, I do a top 10 quarterback ranking, and Herbert used to be in my top 5 in the past, the last couple of years. This year, before the season started, over the summer, he was number 10. He dropped like significantly for me. Why? Because I just told myself and fans that I can't take him seriously until he wins a big playoff game, and he wins important games in the playoffs. And once again, he showed that he couldn't do that. So like, how can he rise on my rank? Anyone's ranking, really. So, like, he's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback, but, like, I thought he was elite, but maybe we have to reconsider what elite is, because that's not elite, man. Playing poorly in the playoffs and never playing well in the playoffs, not elite at all. The Rams and Panthers game was a little weird. The Rams got out to a 14-0 lead, and then the offense just completely stalled out. Like, Stafford was not good. The Rams have kind of stalled out, and I picked them to win the Super Bowl before the season. I picked them to win the Super Bowl before the playoffs started. I said they've been underwhelming the last couple of weeks against the Cardinals, the Falcons, you know that. But I thought that they were going to have a get-right game against the Panthers, and that was not a get-right game. That was not a get-right game at all. Actually, it made me a little more concerned about them than feeling like they got right. So, like, they got off to a lead fast and they looked fine, and all of a sudden they stalled out, and like, Stafford's just been a little shaky. So will I pick them to beat the Chicago Bears? Because, like I said, the Bears could very well go to the Super Bowl. Will the 49ers beat the Seahawks? Will the Patriots beat the Texans? Will the Bills beat the Broncos? We'll find out over the weekend, but go watch my next prediction video. It's going to be uploaded immediately after this. Thank you guys. Take care. Goodbye.